everyone to the Bitfluencers Marketing Podcast. And today we have a very exciting guest in Matyáš. You are one of the power brothers behind BTC Prague. But before we get into this, how has your day been, Matyáš? And give us a quick intro to who you are for those who don't know you yet.
Hey, Joel, thank you for invitation. It's been great. I mean, Czech Republic is awakening now. It's a springtime, sun is shining. I open my window during the day because I need to sit in the office all day long to make sure that the preparations for BTC Prague, the biggest Bitcoin conference in Europe, go well. So my name is Matyáš. I am the one half of BTC Prague team founder, and we've been building Bitcoin communities and the platform for them since 2020. That's what we do. We do it full time, and I feel strongly and stronger every year with what we are doing because we feel great feedback from the community, and the mission, what we are building, is very important. It's not just about Bitcoin. It's about everything else. The paradigm is shifting, and we feel responsible to prepare for this upcoming future.
Nice. And for any of the listeners or watchers, you did see it in the intro. Just be at the event. It's as simple as that. Use the code Bitfluencers, pay in Bitcoin, and you get the most bang for your sats. But Matyáš, you have an exciting update to BTC Prague. Let's get that right out of the way. Drum roll. What is the exciting update you want to share today?
Yeah. So you'll be probably the first one I'm talking about this with. So it's really something what we've been cooking under the lid for some time, and it's about programming. So we are coming up with a new programming track, which is about everything else what Bitcoiners love to talk about, except Bitcoin. I'm in Bitcoin for some time, and I feel like my mind is slipping to different topics already. And I'm hearing this from other people from the community that they care about health and different plan B tactics and parenting and different kind of topics, what kind of drives their attention. And those topics are very important for the future of society because, as I said, the paradigm is changing, and Bitcoiners love to love to do their own research, and we have new technologies which are here, which are new, and we are perhaps the first young generation who will be enjoying the lifelong effects of this. And it's not just Bitcoin. It is AI. It is different kind of education. It's an option to be connected to a million people in the world, but also it's kind of the way how to again reconnect to your own tribe. We have an option to travel the world, but we also have the option to start your own farm. Like most of the Bitcoiners, they are becoming ranchers now. So why is that? Why is this trend here? And the why is pretty obvious. Bitcoiners love to be self-sustainable, and they are not afraid of the hard work, and they love to do proof of work, and they love to know what they are eating, how they are exercising, and they don't left any stone unturned, so to say. So because of all of this, we have come up with this idea to make a special programming track on Thursday outside. So there will be one stage dedicated for all of these topics, and it's called Bitcoin Living Masterclass. If you come on Thursday, you can expect the day full of hardcore Bitcoiners without the retail, because the retail will join the conference on Friday and Saturday. So it's a perfect day when you really reconnect with the community and make sure that you will be empowered by Bitcoin, by Bitcoiners, and by the other tools which are here for our needs. So let me just summarize it, what Bitcoin Living Masterclass is about. We have 5 topics. It's about health. So you can imagine getting sun exposure, mitochondrial biology, biohacking, supplements, fitness, different kind of diets, carnivores, steaks. Then we have parenting, homeschooling, traveling with kids, how to raise the future sovereign individuals. Then we have a really important and exciting topic, AI in the time of abundance. So how to set up your cloud code, how to use different AI tools for your own empowerment together with Noster, because you want to stay censorship resistant, and we love free speech and freedom of expression. So Noster is a big part of this whole movement. The 4th topic is prepping. So how to prep and how to build your own citadel for the time of uncertainty, together with Plan B passports and different kind of tactics, what will make you not the weakest piece in the herd. And the last topic is how to build small local communities. Why is so important to shake your farmer's hand? Why is so important to make sure that in your neighborhoods you have good relationships and trust? Because when shit hits the fan, you come to the basic needs, and the supermarkets will be closed. I don't want this to be a doomsday topic. It's dark, but as I said, it's better to be prepared. And one of these sayings I really love to use is better to be better to be warrior in the garden than gardener in the war. I don't think it's loud said, but maybe it is. And this is just a very natural evolution of BTC Prague. We started as a Bitcoin conference, hardcore Bitcoin conference, but the community grew up. And you have thousands and hundreds of videos on YouTube for pretty much everything around Bitcoin. So I believe now is the time to level up the game and prepare for the change and build the change, because you, me, and others, we will be the future powerful social economic group, and we will choose how we want our neighborhood to be looking like.
Definitely. I think there is a point in your explanation that's so fascinating with something I also noticed, and I think this leads into the next segment quite nicely. I'm not downplaying for any watchers, I'm done with Bitcoin or anything, but we have the money stuff around Bitcoin figured out, in my opinion. And you learn so many points out of this, depending on your interest, that I'm now more fascinating about how can I use these new things and stuff that the normies are interested in to educate them about Bitcoin. And I've noticed a change in my behavior where I'm like, okay, let me listen into what the AI community is saying, what the tech and finance bros are saying. Maybe more the tech bros. The finance bros, I'm a bit meh, you got your ETF BS and live with that. And you're trying to adapt. Is that also something you have noticed within your tribe, and especially over here in Europe, that we are getting out of this education philosophical stand into, hey, it's time to get shit done? And I mean, what better country to showcase this than the Czech Republic, who's really moving fastly along? What has your experience been with the change in Bitcoin in Europe specifically?
Yeah, I think your observation is great. It's really working like that. And I have a great story which I would like to tell about what happened in Czech Republic, why we have such a tremendous change. And it pretty much started 4 years ago when we were meeting with other Czech Bitcoiners. And there were a few guys, I won't name them, but there were a few guys who had a very ambitious plan. They thought that they will change the laws for capital gains taxes and for this amount you can spend Bitcoin without paying taxes on during the year. Because until now, until last year, we had to have very bad laws in Czech, like pretty much every other country. You know, not very bad, but not very friendly, so to say. But those two guys had been very ambitious, and they drafted few laws on a piece of paper, and I told them, guys, this is like mission impossible, like good luck with that. I'm not wasting my time speaking to politicians. But they did it. They really did it. It took 3 years, and now the Czech Bitcoiners are appreciating this huge change. The community had helped a lot as well, because there was a time when those laws were just lying on the table waiting for an approval, and the Czech Bitcoin community synchronized and made a huge drama about this on Twitter. Few politicians, they picked up this as a kind of a opportunity. They recognized this voting block, and suddenly it was not just one politician or 2, 3, 4. It was like pretty much it penetrated the whole political scene. And when the voting came, everyone was voting for this new set of laws. It was unitarily voted for. There was no one voting against it, because they knew they had no chance to say no, you know. And this story is very important, especially for me. It personally changed me. I was really against lobbying, against advocacy. I thought it doesn't make any sense, but this was such a profound way how to change the course of future for Czechs, because many people were already trying to figure out how to leave Czech Republic, how to live in different country, because of the conditions were not very very friendly. But now all of my friends who were trying to solve out their second residency, they are still here in Czech Republic, and I am one of those people who were trying to escape. I believe that now is the time to really hope, not only hope for a better future, but just to see the future is possible. It's probably the first step, and Czech Republic can be the first country, and the other will follow. So I don't know if I answered your questions with this, but this is something what I've been looking at now. And regarding the other people in the community, I see the trend that people are kind of leveling up their game, each of them in a different means. But yes, it's true. We are changing, and it's important to realize that.
Definitely. And I think there is a few points I want to highlight. Most Bitcoiners are hardcore libertarians, so we know we cannot trust the suits, we cannot trust a promise being made during election season, and therefore we tended to step away and then leave the lobby and advocacy work, as you mentioned, to the Coinbases of the world and to all of the companies that we know secretly they like to keep Bitcoin. They don't accumulate as much, but they never are lobbying for it. They're always lobbying for the scams to basically get faster fiat returns. And this has really been a weakness. So I'm also seeing this now. I'm also seeing it in countries like over here in Austria. There is also an initiative going on. That will most likely not pass, because I'm not going to touch politics in these countries. It's a wasted effort. But we also have the same in Switzerland. We have initiatives coming out of Germany, out of the UK. So you do start to see Bitcoiners who maybe are lawyers, who maybe have an experience in lobby work, and go, you know what, if no one is going to speak up, we at least have to do, let's call it the dirty work, and get that voice and that foot into the door. And based off that, change millions of lives, as you just mentioned with these changes. I mean, the next step is then differentiating Bitcoin from investments and accepting it as money, right? But we go step by step. And the second thing I think that's very important to highlight is, you mentioned in the end, Everyone does it at their own pace and is contributing to Bitcoin. And I don't know how you feel, Matthias, but I think we started at 0 and now we're at like step 1, but I think there's a lot more steps to get to. And what I would be fascinating to knowing is, what is the current rabbit hole in this situation you are in? Is it more on the advocacy side, making the best experience with BTC Prague? Or what has recently captured your fascination?
Do you mean in Bitcoin?
Yes. So the overarching, like Bitcoin plus whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm trying to stay up to date. As a program director of BTC Prague, I need to be kind of aware of what is going on. So I'm listening ton of podcasts, like every day, like at least like 2 hours on 1.8 speed, just to make sure that I stay in touch with the Bitcoin community and with the development. I'm trying to make my own opinion. I have a lot of calls. So I'm just, trying to be a good glue, I would say, at this moment. I think Bitcoin community needs to touch the grass and perhaps connect again together, have some restructuralization, so to say, because I see the infighting and I don't like it at all. And this is perhaps like my kind of a thing now with BTC Prague. I feel that the most helpful I can be is to act as a glue, create a diplomatic space where we can perhaps remind ourselves what are the real values, what are the first principles of this fight we have started, and in the first place, who are the right enemies. It's not, we shouldn't be fighting against each other, and I always like to say that Bitcoiners tend to agree on 8 points from 10. So just let's talk about those 8 points and not about those 2 others. What separates us?
Yeah, and I think fully agree with you. And I don't know if this is like my Europe maxim speaking out here now, but I feel like having that nuance for any topic is way more given for us in Europe. And I just feel if I speak to Bitcoiners from across the world, obviously being European, I always have a sense of being home if I speak to a European Bitcoiner, but they immediately click and understand, okay, you live in Austria, I live maybe in Norway, recently spoke to a Bitcoiner in Norway. And we may have a difference of opinion in certain fields, the way we live life, the way you also have to adapt, but we can agree on X, Y, and Z, and then we can debate the rest. And I think as Bitcoiners who are trying to orange pill Europe, and we want to make it big here as well, we are way better at that. Do you think I'm onto something here, or is this just a very strong bias I'm actually expressing now?
I'm sorry to tell you, Joel, but I think it's a strong bias, and I feel the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a strong bias, and wherever I go and I travel outside of Europe, I just confirm that this is true, and it's really about that you just see what is surrounding you.
Definitely. I still choose to believe that we are good for it. But one more important thing I also wanted to highlight, especially with the Czech Republic and Bitcoin and the advocacy, is obviously the occasional use with, this test pilot the central bank is running and stuff. Being the biggest conference in Europe, have you guys also been approached? Has there been an interest in regards to, hey, how have you done this? Or is this really something where you say, I'm just a glue that connects, hey, this guy wants to talk to this guy, here we go. What has the experience been there? And has there been a fundamental change in the community as well since the international news broke? that, you may see Bitcoin on the balance sheet someday?
Do you mean if we were approached about the announcement of central bank?
Yeah, or if there has actually been interest from their end to speak to you guys and understand the basics behind Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, so twofold question. We haven't been really approached by anyone to comment on it. And the second part, central bank. So they are coming to BTC Prague already for 2 or 3 years. They are always buying the tickets. We don't support them. They are really buying the tickets. And last year, 2025, we had one of the central bank employee on the stage, on the Czech stage. So I think that the plan is already had been developed in past, and now is just like the other step in some long-term play.
And how do you personally address the situation? Because I'm not going to mention where or who, but I did have a similar experience with central bankers approaching a group I'm part of, let's say it this way. And to me, it was, Bitcoin is also money and something for your enemies. So we shouldn't block them because then we're not better than fiat. But at the same time, I kind of had that feeling like, it's a central banker, what I'm going to tell him. How has your experience been in this if you had conversations with them or if they approached you?
Yeah, well, I'm same like you. I've joined Bitcoin and Bitcoin revolution because of the anarcho-capitalist in me. I don't like fiat. I don't like banks. I don't like this institutional world. But I feel like it's necessary part of a Bitcoin evolution. It must happen. It's inevitable. And if it won't happen, Bitcoin will not penetrate the whole world as the global currency. The step needs to happen. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. And with this, I'm approaching the other side. They are still people. They are just living in their own world. They might not be well educated. They took a Keynesian economic course. They have no idea about the real money. It's too deep. It's rooted in the old world, and our work is to change it. So I like to be constructive, and spend time with those people and trying to show them the way in, even though they wear suits and they work for big institutions where there are only one wheel and they don't see the whole picture. I feel like it's necessary, and if we do it faster, it will be better.
Yeah, it's the necessary evil you have to deal with at the end of the day. And I'm always trying to remain positive and tell myself, most people in Bitcoin probably started for the gains and they found something which stuck. So my hope is they do the same. But I'm still believing that, it should be in my opinion, shouldn't be on the balance sheet. It should be in the possession of sovereign individuals, but that's a debate or a larger debate we could actually host once. But I have another question, Matyáš. When you explained the Bitcoin masterclass stuff and you went down all of the different aspects, one idea I've been having is to make Bitcoin more of a social phenomenon. So, I know there is the wrench guy people who say never wear merch, be careful, we shouldn't be expressive. I actually think, and coming from a comms background, it should be the opposite. We should make it cool or hip, or you should have cool swag and stuff like this. And I find the idea you guys have super cool. Do you think if it's a success and you see, hey, there's a lot of interest, people are really finding their own tribes, would BTC Prague also expand into, certain events throughout the year, like mini events or masterclasses or workshops like this, where you can go even more down the social phenomenon behind Bitcoin?
Well, it's not in our plan. I must say that we are very busy. What we have already on our plate, we must make sure that we eat what is here for us, and perhaps in a few years, where if we see the opportunity and we get the right partners for this, because we are not an experts, we have experts, we know experts, but they need to convey the message. They are the teachers, the lectors, the leaders. We just put them together, So if we will have people who like to do that and we join forces, we can organize an event which will be specialized for those other topics. It's a good idea, but it's a lot of work behind that. So, and also, now we are in the deep bear market. There is just not enough interest to do that outside BTC Prague. It's very difficult to organize a meetup and bring guests and pay for the venue. And if only 30 to 100 people show up, it doesn't make sense from the economical point of view. So perhaps in a few years, when we see a real interest and newbies will be coming in thousands, perhaps that's the time when we start teaching about these other topics than just Bitcoin.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the bear markets are here for building. And a shout out to you guys, because I remember my first BTC Prague was in 23. And I remember the vibes being so high back then. And if you just wanted to look at the price, you would think like, what the hell's going on? Like, shouldn't everyone be depressed looking from the outside in? And the vibes compared to last year, they were also great, but you had a good contrast between a bull market conference and the bear market one. And for the listeners or viewers, definitely also in the bear market, invest the time and go to a conference such as BTC Prague, because you will see and feel the kind of energy you have. And that's where mostly great ideas happen. But Matyáš, one thing also in regards to Bitcoin in Europe is we are the continent with the silliest regulation. We tend to regulate before we innovate. How do you see this affecting the growth of Bitcoin in Europe?
Good question. Well, it's horrible. I mean, the regulations are ridiculous. It's slowing down the innovation. It's stopping innovation. Just now with the travel rule, like thousands of restaurants had to withdraw in Czech Republic, had to withdraw from accepting Bitcoin payments because the merchant now needs to KYC the people paying for a lunch. So it's ridiculous. It's horrible, and I would say just get out of our way, so, but it's not easy, So it's part of BTC Prague. This is not my game. This is not my expertise, but I know it's important to put people in the room who like to talk about advocacy, who like to go to these rooms full of suits and read the long papers and reports from their meetings and find the little highlighted paragraphs where we can make a change. So if you as a listener are one of this person, just step out and try and join the forces with others, because it makes sense. We need to defend ourselves. The people who write those regulations are disconnected from the reality. They never had business. They were never entrepreneurs. They are fed from our pockets with our inflation, and it's very unfair. It must stop. It must stop, and it will stop.
Yeah, I think this is sort of the fourth turning theory stuff playing out. You know, before it gets better, you're at like that top point where you would not believe that it can get worse or sillier, but it actually does. And I'm actually also seeing that trend change in the positive direction, as you mentioned. But another thing I'm curious is, Matyáš, currently you are dealing with so many moving parts with BTC Prague. As you explained, you are the glue holding it together and connecting the people. In Bitcoin specifically, is there then one point where you go, I've had enough, I don't have the time anymore, people need to help me out? First of all, what would that be where you say the community needs more help? And what would you urge viewers or listeners who are good in this to actually do? So what's the spark where the community can help out even more?
Well, I think that the community should come back to the real first principle values. Maybe read some cypherpunk history, because that's something what I feel is disappearing from the air, and it's very important, because this is the that's how Bitcoin have been born. So read more cypherpunk history and think like a hacker. Just don't look for shortcuts. Shortcuts are bad. It will make your brain lazy, and then you will never find the right way. So if it's something hard, it's good. We have so many great tools, so practice the tools, and don't be afraid to try 5 tools and then pick the right one for your own personal development. Because if you care about privacy, there are tools which will deliver you the privacy. You just need to be smart and look for them. So don't complain, just look for solutions. So I would urge people to never stop learning. Bitcoin is developing. There are still new things to try, and some of the companies are still doing very hard work to try loopholes and doing it the right way, not the easiest way. So perhaps that's my recommendation. Support those hardcore Bitcoin only cypherpunk companies who are not always the most sexy ones.
Nice. I think that's a key message, because boy oh boy do they need the support. And that goes into many aspects, guys. Like, Nostr compared to centralized social media, how can you contribute? I liked your tip, think like a hacker. I think that's a cool thing to take away. And yeah, try to help us as much as you can. Before we go into the closing segment, is there anything I forgot to ask you, Matyáš, where it's a burning need for you to tell to our audience?
Well, yes, thank you. It's about BTC Prague, of course. I mean, we are in the deep bear market. We appreciate every single visitor at BTC Prague. But it's not just because BTC Prague needs to survive and we need the ticket sales. It's because the Europe and and your own life will become better if you come to BTC Prague. In the time of AI, deepfakes, and the digital panopticon, which is definitely coming, there is no other way than coming back to the real relationship, shaking your hands, looking into your eyes, and knowing that we are friends. And if shit hits the fan, I know where to go and I know who to call. If I see that there is some huge protest and streets are burning in Vienna, and I'll see this on the internet, I don't need to verify. I don't need to trust. I just call you and ask, Joel, is something happening? And you tell me, no worries, Matt, it's just a fake news. And I sort it out. We need to create our network of trust again, because there will be no other way how to know what's real or not on the internet. We are coming back to the time before internet, and BTC Prague is the best place where you can meet like-minded people, shake their hand, talk about Bitcoin and other stuff, and make the first step to create the relationship which can last forever for the rest of your life. Because Bitcoiners love to talk about similar things. So it's better think about it as a long-term investment in relationship building than just going to a conference and watching talks. Yes, of course, it's a whole mix. But for me personally, the people what you meet on the way are the real asset, not Bitcoin.
Nice. I love it. Build trust in a trustless system by having enough connections. I think that's like a right point to end the episode. But before we head out, Matyáš, of course, where can people find you if they want to get in touch? And please let us know from when to when the conference will take place.
So the conference is in June 11 to 13. Better come on Wednesday, June 10th, because there will be some side events. It's a summertime, nice weather. And where you can find me, I'm on Nostr and Twitter. If you write my name, you find it, Matyáš Kuchař. I think it's Matyáš Kuchař on Nostr and Matyáš44 Cook on Twitter.
Nice. I will also make sure to leave all of the links and everything below the episode. And of course, also the link to BTC Prague, because you guys heard it. The connections you make along the way, it's really true what Matyáš says. I met some of the best people in the industry in Prague now over 3 years ago. You still stay in touch, and I love the example you gave. If something is happening in that city, I'm one message away of verifying it, because this is the way, we should think about stuff, and this is the hacker way, which is what I took away from today's episode, to find a signal in a very noisy world. Matyáš, thank you very much for coming on to the show. As always, it was a pleasure having you on, and I look forward to seeing you in Prague very soon.
Thank you, Joe, for inviting me, and I'll see you all in Prague. Ciao.